Alright, what's up everyone? Today we're going down to Denver, me and Preston, and we are going to see what differences we see, what the main political opinion is in the city. We're just gonna go talk to some people, see what's going on.
Now, if there is one thing I'd like to say, statistically, the majority of the people we should be interviewing are going to be more left-leaning, based on the fact that population density almost does directly correlate to political spectrum being left-leaning. So I'm actually pretty excited to see if that's true and if we are really going to be encountering more Democrats and liberals and whatnot here than we would be in, say, Colorado Springs or Castle Rock. So hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah, let's see what goes on.
So, voiceover me here. Today, me and Sam and our wonderful cameraman Levi, we are diving into the deep world of politics. More specifically, we are talking about the two-party or bipartisan system in America. These are our names, by the way. And that would mean the division between the Democrats and the Republicans. Yes, there are other parties, but let's be honest, you're not voting for the other ones, and those who do, it doesn't really count. But we're talking about the cultural division between these two, what the dominance of one or the other and the aggression towards each other does, and just how that affects the U.S.
All right, here we are. We've made it to Union Station in downtown Denver. We're gonna go interview a couple people here, see what opinions we get, see if there's more left versus right, which supposedly there should be, although we don't know yet. So, anything to add there?
No.
Now, just to touch up on what our interviews are going to be like, basically, we headed down to Union Station in central Denver. That is basically the most central collective part of Denver we could think of. And we're going to be finding random people in and around there to ask them a couple questions. Our first question is basically, what side are you on? Left, right, Republican, Democrat? B, our second question is, what do you see in that party or the other party? Do you have any views on that? And our last question is, how do you think that split party bipartisan system is affecting the people around you and in the United States in general? There are more questions, but we'll talk about them later.
So what's your name?
Gwyneth?
So we have a few political questions. We're doing a project on what the problems with our split party democracy is right now. So do you have any words on that?
Okay, let me be respectful. Gosh, there's just so much divisiveness on everything. Quite frankly, I don't understand it. I look back to Reagan years, Bush years, whatever. You didn't like the Republicans, you didn't like the Democrats, but we all listened and gave each other a chance to speak, and it was a little bit more for the good of the country. For now, it's, I don't know, it just seems like there's power that has gone to people in decision-making positions that is too ego-centered, I guess.
I know, that's a perfect
So that would be my answer.
No, that's a perfect way of putting it. Thank you. Do you see any changes or similarities between a lot of people who live down here?
The similarities or differences that live
In Denver, yeah, in the city, compared to rural areas.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say that I think Denver's a friendly city, but when you get outside of to more smaller, more intimate groups, there's a little bit more of maybe seeing somebody as another human versus just, racing about on your own agenda. Our lives are busier, I feel like, in a situation more in a metropolitan area than a rural. That's my own opinion.
Well, thank you so much, Gwyneth. It was very nice to talk to you.
Good luck, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, who am I here with today?
I'm Josh Martinez.
Nice to meet you, Josh. If you're comfortable with it, what's your political affiliation? You don't have to if you're not comfortable.
What's my political affiliation?
Yeah.
Left wing.
Left-leaning? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I have a question with you. Obviously, you realize that our government is split mainly into two parties, like very aggressively left and right. What do you think about the cultural division and all the problems that causes for citizens and people living around?
I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's a class thing, right? People that have money and have resources and stuff are obviously going to believe in one thing, and people that don't are going to believe in another thing. Unless you're just brainwashed. I think, people that come from humble beginnings and people that don't necessarily have great resources should be voting for people that have their best interests in mind. And usually it's not the people that are in our government, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see. And so, just to tag along with that, you think that there's like a class influence there? Like, is there anything more you'd like to add to that there?
I just think that usually the Republicans don't care about the average person, to be honest. It's pretty obvious in the way that their policies are structured. I mean, they give big tax breaks to people that don't really need it, and then put the burden on the middle and lower class. I just think it's pretty simple at the end of the day. It's really an issue between people that have that and have-nots. That's my opinion.
And just one more question for you. If you were to say that if there were a change to be made, not necessarily to like a certain party or group of people, but just to like our governmental system in general, maybe with the parties, whatnot, elections, what would you say would be effective there?
They shouldn't be allowed to spend so much money on the elections.
Oh, yeah?
These big companies are buying the elections from us. You know, they shouldn't be allowed to take these huge donations from these big companies, because that's going to affect the way they vote in Congress and the way they govern, right? I mean, if a big oil company gives this politician a bunch of money, he's obviously going to vote in favor of them rather than in favor of the American people. So there's just too much money in politics, and I think that's the problem we have, the biggest problem we have.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much for interviewing with me. That was very insightful.
Yeah, have a good one, brother.
Thanks, you too. We, after that interview, there was a few things we noticed.
Some positive insight.
Yep.
So far, from what I've heard through a few of the interviews, what I think is how most people see our government is they're almost blind to their party's corruption, but they point out other parties' corruption. I believe that our government is, I agree with the one guy, it's corrupted by money and things like that, but it's corrupt on both sides. There's not such thing as a non-corrupt politician. For me, my political affiliation is, I would say, I'm more just neutral. My political affiliation comes from my religion and my morals more than actual politics. But I guess that's all I really need to say.
All right, so we've interviewed, I believe we only got 2 people at Union Station. That's okay. Quite a few people declined our interviews. They actually declined me. Anyway, we're going to Denver Skate Park, D Park, as I've been informed, just to see if we can get a couple people there.
Go.
It says no turn on red.
Well, I did not see that thing turning green at all.
Should I just go?
So shortly after we arrived at D Park, here are some clips of Levi skating. And the reason we came here in the first place is because Levi suggested this. Skating culture is supposed to be more left-leaning, or at the very least it tends to be more progressive. So we are already in Denver, a left-leaning city and area, and we wanted to see if that progressiveness and left-leaning skating culture was really a thing, if it affected the beliefs, being younger, being into skating, being in a one big culture. We just wanted to see what these people had to say. So without further ado, here is our interview.
All right, what was your name again? One more time?
Abel. My name's Abel.
Nice to meet you, Abel. So we're here today to talk about just like the political. So obviously, our like government split into like 2 parties. So how do you see that like affect your community?
What I was telling him, I don't even like how it's split. It doesn't feel equal. I just told him, he was like, yeah, it's about politics or whatever. I'm like, bro, I'm brown and I'm just trying to live. There's no fighting in me, bro. There's no need to it. But I think that should change at some point. You never know how we are here in America, especially with all the war and all that.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, I should not cuss, huh? My bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. I just don't like how it's split into 2. It should not. It should be all in one.
Yeah.
Not just red or blue or whatever.
No, right. Do you think the division causes like any, strifes between different like people, like even racially or like others, like gender-wise?
Yeah. I feel like even like including racism or even like what's the word? Being a homophobic or all that, like that doesn't even seem fair either. I feel like if you're choosing a different party and it's, let's say, your same blood, same freaking skin, and they don't like it, that'll go into like a traitor mode. Like,
I don't trust you, bro, anymore. So that's how I feel that on that part.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for your time, bro.
Of course. Do that again. So it's something I noticed. So not here. We only asked one person here. We don't really want to interrupt their skating. But so what's really interesting is that me personally, I got declined 4 times. What was interesting is the one guy, I might have the clip, I might not. I might have played it already, or I'll play it now. But he refused to talk about it because it was about politics. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's like a testament to how maybe some people would say it's the government's doing. Maybe some people say it's our people's doing. I mean, naturally, people are going to disagree with each other, but it's like not a space for a healthy debate. You know, everybody's just going to argue. Like, he didn't want to talk about it because he thought it was going to bring up an argument. Like, everybody's so aggressive about everything. And is that going to happen just because it's government? It's such a big thing? Maybe. But I don't know. It's really strange how I think our government especially promotes the division more in like the aggressiveness sense. Both people from what are the representatives, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in the last election, they both like encouraged like the opposite sides like talk and whatnot. I think it's really unhealthy, but I thought it's an interesting observation that us not being able to get that many interviews is honestly probably a testament to what it's like now.
Now that concludes the Denver segment of the video. These next clips take place in your very own Lutheran High School in Parker. Now in contrast to Denver, which should be left-leaning due to its population density, Parker is a more spread out place, and as you know, it is right-leaning because the chances are you watching this actually are right-leaning. Now I'm not saying that definitely, but just statistically, right-leaning isn't Republican. So we are going to find out here with these clips if that's true or not, if that population density is really a provable fact, and after that we're going to answer some of our auxiliary questions and just take a look for our conclusion. Who am I with today?
Chloe Capone.
All right, Chloe, if you were to either lean or stand in one side of the political spectrum, because, you know, America as it stands right now is more or less a two-party system, that being Democrats and Republicans, where would you say you stand right now?
I'm more Republican.
And why would you say you stand there?
I just believe that their beliefs align more with the Christian values, and then I also believe that they focus on getting things done rather than the emotional aspect.
All right. I mean, thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you.
All right. What's your name?
Scott Bickers.
Scott Bickers. All right. So obviously, as you know, our country has a two-sided political party, obviously. We have like third-party Democrats and stuff. We have democracy that has a few more sides, but for the most part, it's going to be Republican and Democrat. So what side would you more say you're like siding with, and why?
Well, it's a tough question. I think I've evolved over time. Kind of grew up with conservative values, conservative parents. I've always leaned Republican and voted in the primaries of the Republican Party. Find myself more and more these days feeling like there's less and less of a difference between the two parties. So I find myself more in the kind of the middle these days. Wouldn't say I'm libertarian, but identify. You know, I guess I find myself identifying with certain things on all three sides, if you want to throw libertarians in there. But I think my faith has me a lot of times leaning towards more of the conservative principles.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that was perfect. Thank you, Mr. Bickers.
Who am I with today?
Maxton Gonzalez.
All right, thank you, Maxton. Max, if you will. As you know, the current state of American politics, for the most part, the government is split into two parties, that being Democratic and Republican. There are other parties, but I would say the vast majority is of Democratic, Republican, left, and right. Where would you consider yourself to be aligned between those parties?
I would always lean more right. Growing up, I was in a very conservative household. My parents, my grandparents. So that's just how I've been raised, and I agree with most of the alignments. I think there's good in both worlds and bad in both worlds. Unfortunately, I think people spread the line too thin where we can't have both good things.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for your time, Maxton. Have a blessed. Now, I'd like to start off this conclusion by saying, yes, that population theory, which is not even a theory, it's a statistic, it is true, and we've just proved it here. The people inside Denver were more left-leaning, and the people inside Parker were more right-leaning. Now, I'd also like to answer a couple more auxiliary questions. The first one starting out with, how does the bipartisan loyalty affect the effectiveness and cooperation within our government? To put it simply, does being loyal to one side make things harder? Yes, it's us versus them, it's the winner takes all. You're not going to stand down for anybody. In the government, obviously, people don't like each other, and you're not going to sit down, you're not going to cooperate with someone you don't like and you don't agree with their beliefs. It's a show of weakness, it's a sign that you didn't do it. And it's already caused 2 shutdowns for us, so who knows what's next. Lastly, how do these 2 dominant parties affect your voting choice? And the answer is, they affect it greatly. Let's be honest, you don't really choose who you vote. You choose 1 or 2, Republican or Democrat. You can vote for an independent if you really like what they believe in, but they're not getting elected. Let's be honest, it hasn't happened in decades. So all you have to do is choose 1 or 2. If you don't like someone, well, too bad. That other guy is kind of worse, so I'm going to vote for him. You don't really get a choice. You get a choice between 2, and that's a problem. If this dominance wasn't so strong, I'm sure the vote would be spread out so much more, and people wouldn't be so aggressive with each other. It's not a 1v1, it's a bunch v bunch, and you guys get to argue and disagree with as much as you want, but you can compromise more because you're not stuck so much on one side. Now finally, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more and view more of our questions, go on to splitdemocracy.weebly.com or demodumb.weebly.com. We answer all of our questions there. We have some cool research that I would love to share, but unfortunately I've already taken up too much time. So thank you so much for watching. We put a lot of effort in it, and have a great day.